All right, namaste and greetings to everyone. All right, let's all, if you will, take the next few minutes, intentionally withdraw your attention into the pure awareness of the self, the pure, simple awareness of I am. Or just recognize your own existence as such. How is it that you know that you are? Certainly you cannot deny your own existence. There may possibly be doubt or uncertainty as to the nature of your existence if you have not deeply considered it. But you cannot deny your existence. We all say, I am. What is it that is saying, I am? If we look closely at it, it's not the body. If it were the body that says, I am, a corpse would speak and say, don't bury me. Now, yes, the mind may say, I am, but the fact is that the mind cannot say, I am, if there is not the prior awareness, the pure being that is I am behind or prior to the mind. And very often, we have never penetrated into or touched or seen or felt or realized this pure I am that must be even before the thought I am can be. Intentionally now consider this simple fact that the I am that we all are, that we all recognize in our own way, this I am exists even prior to the thought I am. And the thought I am, which is dependent upon this prior awareness of I amness, must always depend on the thought, but the awareness does not itself depend upon the thought. If that was a confusing statement, let me say it again. Awareness must be before the thought of I am can be, but awareness is not dependent upon the thought I am. Awareness ever shines without beginning or ending, without coming or going, just as the sun shines even in the darkness, even though we don't see it in the darkness because of the shadow of the earth. The pure awareness is ever shining as it is, even though we may not always see it because of the darkness of the mind. in dreamless sleep or otherwise. Let's all intentionally remain to the best of our ability in and as and from this pure awareness of the self that we are, without thought, without the disturbance of thought, for the next few minutes. So as we continue to intentionally abide in this simple awareness, in this remembrance of I am, the pure being of the self that we all are. Let's consider these conscious words spoken by the great being, the sage, Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, the Parasat Guru of Aham, along with the Master Jesus Christ. These words, however, are words spoken by Sri Bhagavan Ramana in and from the consciousness of pure being, from the realization of awareness being that which we all are. They begin with Sunday, last Sunday's message, July the 15th. Sri Bhagavan says, if one remains at peace oneself, there is only peace everywhere. Really see this. See how basic, how simple, how most effective it is and will be if we all just remain ourselves in the peace that we are as pure being. If we do so as Bhagavan says, there is only peace everywhere. Monday's message, Bhagavan says, there is no standard by which to judge something to be right and another to be wrong. Options differ according to the nature of the individual and according to the surroundings. They are ideas and nothing more. Meaning, judgments of right and wrong are ideas and nothing more. Tuesday's message. Whatever is done lovingly, with righteous purity, and with peace of mind, is a good action. Wednesday's message. Bad habits and bad conduct are like a wound in the body. Every disease must be given appropriate treatment. Of course, adding to that, that love and compassion is one way of dealing with bad habits and bad conduct. Love and compassion on our part as the seeming recipient of such actions. And the final message in this series this week is Thursday's message. This is so significant and so highly beneficial to get this one simple message. When there is no I, that is, no sense of I, there is no karma, no destiny that has to be received or given out. When one rests in the pure awareness of being itself, prior to body-mind identification, prior to the ego, which is the sense of I, there is no karma. That's the end of the week's messages. Now, as we continue to abide in this pure awareness, as this pure awareness, in the knowing and seeing as and from this awareness, let's be together in fellowship in love with eyes open, capable of continuing in our functioning in and from this awareness, and in our relationships with one another, and in our communication with one another, in fellowship and in love. If there are any questions that you may have based upon the readings, or based upon Aham's teachings, or what you know our teachings to be, or based upon your own spiritual practice with regard to what may be occurring in your life, or anything you would like to share in this conscious communion together, please be open and willing to share and to receive the sharings of anyone and everyone else. Namaste. Namaste. All right, does anyone have anything you'd like to share? Let me share and say that today is the completion of a week's self-inquiry retreat and training program. And we have a number of people here who have completed the program this week and who are here in our Arunachala Hall. And from what they have shared with me, this has been a significant time, a very significant interlude, a week's interlude, in and with the self and Aham's teaching and how to let go of body-mind entanglements and simply abide in this pure awareness that is the location of peace, freedom, and joy. The fact of the matter is, whether we recognize it ordinarily or not, there really is no happiness in any event, situation, person, place, or thing appearing in time and space, appearing in the world. That is not the location of true happiness, not in the apparent world itself. The truth is, we take the happiness that is the true nature of the being that we are into the world and share it with the world. We give it to the world. If we're looking for happiness from the world, then we have it backwards. If we're hoping to one day receive what we want from the world, then we are wanting something that is only temporary, something that is only illusory, something that is not real. And that which is illusionary or not real is not dependable. How long can we have it or keep it? How long will it maintain its glimmer, its beauty? Simply see this, not with judgment. See it as a fact. See it to be the way it all works. If we have thought otherwise, if we're looking for love in a relationship, if we're looking for security in our possessions or from our possessions, such as from money and property, if we believe that's going to give us security and love, my friends, we have it backwards. Simply see this. See for yourself how it really all is appearing to this awareness that we all are. Life itself has been a constant appearance and disappearance of persons, places, things, events, happenings or situations, objects, possessions that we have acquired, accumulated, perhaps are still maintaining, but one day will lose, that will one day change, and that are really in truth ever changing. See this, that before this awareness that we are is ever appearing and disappearing, ever coming and going, ever beginning and ending, what appears to be this world of persons, places, and things, events, adventures, goings and comings. See it. But this that we are, this pure being that is the self that we are, does not change, even with all that we have seen and known that has come and gone, that has changed. This that we are, the self that we are, has never changed, and it will never change, for it's not subject to change. And yet without it, nothing could be seen or known that is coming and going. See this. Know this, for this is the most significant knowingness that can occur. From the very first instant that we can recall in which we existed, that we knew that we existed, whether we recognized what our existence is or not, from the very first instant, in the very presence of being itself, in the awareness that is, our life or livingness has been a parade of goings and comings. It appears that perhaps we have been going and coming through our identification with the body and mind, but we are that which is prior to the body and mind that sees the apparent goings and comings of the body-mind. Know this self that we are. Let these words be pointers to this quality of pure being that we actually are. See that the self we may think we are, and may have all long thought we are, as though we are the body-mind, is not the self that we actually are. Simply see this and know this without there being an I that is doing the seeing or doing the knowing. Can anyone add anything to this, or do you have any questions pertaining to it? All right, does anyone have any good jokes? We can still tell a good joke and not forget the awareness in which the joke is occurring. let's don't take this all too seriously. Let's just be serious about taking it, about being it. See how simple it is to abide in the pure awareness of being, the stillness, the silence of the self, in which everything is occurring, in which everything is appearing. That we can actually share, we can speak, actions can occur, but do not affect the prior awareness, the stillness. And the word prior is in truth is not even correct, because this awareness that we are, which appears to be prior, is primary. If it were not for the awareness, there would be nothing else. So it's not secondary, it's primary. Now, from the mind's perspective and point of view, we may consider it to be secondary. Whatever we give our primary or original allegiance to. But from the very first instant that awareness knew what was occurring, what was appearing, really see and get it, that first instant is itself infinite and eternal. You see, when we talk about goings and comings, beginnings and endings, it would appear that we are, not only appear, but we are dealing with time. It would give appearance to the reality of time. And when we're dealing with time, we're dealing with cause and effect. Can we see this? And when we're dealing with cause and effect, then that brings up the fact that there must be a first cause. Now, for there to be a first cause, which there must be if there is any cause in time and space, then this first cause, paradoxically, is without beginning. Otherwise, it's not first. It would not be the first cause. So the first cause is without beginning. So this first instant pertaining to cause, in which cause is being seen, which is synonymous with or simultaneous with first cause, the first instant is without beginning and also without ending. So the first instant is eternal instant. The very presence of presence itself. This may be difficult for the mind. This may be a problem for the mind, because the mind itself lives only in time and space. But it's not difficult for the self, which is prior to time and space. Gotcha, didn't I? So here we all are, as the awareness that we are, prior to time and space. Now, in and from and as, this awareness that we are prior to time and space. Do we not see that all that we have thought to be us, I, me, my, mine, self with a little s, ego, body-mind identification, all of that is an appearance, it's an object, it's occurring objectively or appearing objectively in this pure awareness of the self that has no beginning and ending. And this self that has no beginning and ending is ourself. This is who we are. This is what we are. It is so basic and so usually not seen, and yet nothing else can be without this that we are. See it. Be the seeing of it. Let go of what we think we are as body-mind, what we have believed that we are. Let go and release all that we have thought that we are, seeing it as an object in this awareness that we actually are. In this faceless, formless, timeless, spaceless awareness of pure being that we actually are. Don't think about this. Be this. This is the message of truth that we share here at Ahab, and that we bring people into the realization of by way of the teaching. Through the grace of Sri Bhagavan Ramana, who has given us the direct and immediate way for this recognition, this awakened awareness to occur. The most direct and immediate way to abide in the pure awareness of the being that we all are, free of body-mind identification, free of time and space, free of all the goings and comings, of all the beginnings and endings, but seeing them, capable of living and being and dealing with them, but not at the effect. Living life as life and not at the effect of life. Nod your heads if you're getting what is being said, and you on the call, nod your head. So does anyone have anything you would like to reveal or share that you are getting or seeing in this regard?
Ramana.
All right.
This is Mary.
Okay, Mary.
I just wanted to share something that came up for me this week while I was being with my sponsor.
Okay.
And what came up was a sense of a virtual reality. And like you see on the movies where you put on this apparatus or whatever, that the senses are stimulated so that it feels very real. And I just had a sense that with this virtual reality, virtual reality, but the truth is I've never been anywhere.
Yes.
And actually nothing has really ever happened.
Yes. That's it. By Jove, she's got it. Yes, Mary. It's seeing that there is no one to come and go. It only appears that there's someone that comes and goes. The awareness is that in which everything is appearing. We are that in which everything is appearing. Now, ordinarily, from the world's point of view, we'd say God is that in which everything is appearing. Well, God is the self, capital S. God and self are synonymous. And this ability to have this seeing, to have this insight, comes about by the grace of the teaching. Now, the teaching is taught by the guru, and that guru is the one teacher that ever abides in us, as the seer, as the knower, and that brings us eventually back into pure knowing and self, into the releasing of body-mind identification, so that the pure being is recognized, known again as it actually is, free of thought, free of concepts, free of beliefs, no longer at the effect of concepts or beliefs. This is the truth that the Master Jesus said, when it is known, it sets us free, it makes us free. Thank you, Mary, for your sharing. You can share, but please come here to do so that everyone can partake of your sharing. Speak so it goes into those speakers right there, okay? Please sit down and enjoy.
Yes, this is Dan from Charlotte, North Carolina. I feel this awareness is very ordinary, but I don't see any special effect.
That's
or
right.
anything like that.
That's right.
But I guess my mind, I'm always expecting something more than that.
Yes, that's it.
That's
That's it. So there has been so much written about it, so much said about it, so much believed about it, so much conceptualized about it, that you have to be something really special. Well, you are. We all are, and always have been. And always have been. We just don't know that we are. We have been thinking this, that, and the other, conceptualizing this, that, and the other without seeing that all concepts are occurring in this one awareness that we are. We're not recognizing this awareness that is before anything else is, and without which nothing else is. The simplicity of it. Now, it's real easy when we are in conscious company to recognize conscious company. If you're in unconscious company, in the company of those that are living in the mind, identified with the body, and with the concepts of time and space as though time and space are actualities, realities, instead of simply as they are, thoughts, concepts that are constantly going and coming, beginnings and endings, if we're caught up in identification with the body-mind and with time and space, and hanging out with people who themselves are caught up and identified with the body-mind and time and space, as though that's the reality of it all, and we're influenced by that out of habit, then that's the way it's going to appear. But you see, that identification is itself the cause of suffering. Now, that doesn't mean that there may not still be pain occurring in the body. People appearing in your life that you like and some that you dislike. But if you're abiding in the awareness and just seeing that, recognizing that as being the way it is, you can recognize that as being the way it is as you remain in the awareness that is prior to that. When you see something going on that you do not like, that is problematic, the awareness that is seeing that is not problematic. The awareness that is seeing upset has no upset in it. The screen on which an upsetting event is happening in a movie does not etch the upsetting event on the screen so it ever remains in the theater. The mirror that reflects fire, touch the mirror, it has no heat in it. That reflects water, you can touch the mirror and it has no wetness in it. Exactly in the same vein, in the same manner, the awareness that we are that sees the upset has no upset in it. So if we remain in and as the awareness and identified only with and as the awareness, where is the upset? There is no upset unless we think about it. So basic. This is the simplicity. This is the truth that the Master Jesus said makes you free when you know it. Know it without there being someone that is knowing it. Without there being someone who is doing the knowing. If there's someone doing the knowing, now you're still caught. Now there's still the potential of suffering, of unhappiness, of upset. Watch and see that if you identify with that which you dislike, then there's going to be dislike. But if you're prior to that seeing the dislike, it can be there, and you can see it in humor. You can see it with compassion and without judgment. Wouldn't you rather see things with compassion and without judgment than being at the effect of them and thereby being judged by them? See the difference? It is so simple, so basic, that it is usually overlooked. Tell yourself the truth without any judgment. If you have been overlooking it, then just smile at yourself and say, well, at least you are cute. Okay, anyone have anything? Okay. Okay, Lucas.
Well, I want to thank you for the words this morning. It's very appropriate for me because quite often, I want situations to be different so things are better and so on. And this morning was a good reminder again that, these are just situations, it's not me. Or another example is when someone
Can you
asks
speak
me,
little louder? Can you speak a little louder?
Okay, if someone asks me about, to describe my life and so on, and I go right away in what I have done, and that is not me. And so this morning, this was a real good reminder, and I really want to thank you for bringing it up.
Yes, okay. Thank you for sharing, Lucas.
Good morning, everyone. This is Frankie at the center. I've just completed, or will complete in a few minutes, the iSIT program that was given here this week. And I would like to strongly encourage all of you who have never taken iSIT training for self-awareness to do so. And those of you who've had it, like I have had it, in another format, or thought I had it in another format. I've been coming around AHAM since the early 80s, and I have just received so much this week. If you're feeling like you want to be free, and you just don't know how, or you can't get the handle on it, this is a real tool, a real way to do that. And I'd just like to say, sign up.
Oh, thank you, Frankie.
And I have two quick jokes.
What'd you say, love?
I have two quick jokes.
Okay.
What do you get when you cross an atheist with a Jehovah's Witness? Someone at your front door for no apparent reason. And the second one is, does anybody know what the Zen Buddhist said to the hot dog vendor?
Yes. Make me one with everything.
Make me one with everything.
Thank you, Frankie. Okay, the timekeeper says we have 6 more minutes in this interlude, even though, again, time is only a concept. But it's an actuality as far as we only have 6 more minutes in this interlude. So if anyone else has anything you'd like to share.
Hello, everyone on the line. I've had
Introduce yourself.
Peter from Montreal, Quebec, and I've been here on the iSIT program for this week. As Frankie had just shared, it's been an extraordinary experience. I have a question that's still unresolved as I leave here today. I'd like to address it to Ramana. In the business world that I live in, my body-mind apparatus lives in, I'm going to be going back to a world of unconscious people who have stories and get caught up in their stories, and I know I've avoided that in the past, or at least my tendency is to not want to go there, and now I believe I have a toolbox for that. My question is, have you got any advice for people that still live in the other so-called world and how to deal with business transactions with people that are unconscious, that, you know, may want to, as I think you said yesterday, pull the world over your eyes. How can I be that person and stand for what I believe to be truth in an unconscious world?
Well, first you must recognize that is appearing to go on, and that it appears that there are those people as seeming individuals. But the fact is, all of that is being seen by you. So it's an aspect of the self that you are. So if you deal with them with compassion, with consciousness and compassion, and recognize that from where they're coming from, the way they see it is the way it is to them. See? So you be compassionate in that. That's the way they see it. And the way they see it is the way it is to them. Now we have a number of programs here other than the one you have just completed. And that one is dealt with in our conscious communication and relationship workshop, which you will qualify for after you've completed the continued practice and are neutralizing your negative past. Then you will be qualified for conscious communications and relationship. But I'll give you a key. I'm sorry?
Living meditation.
Oh, living meditation is first. Well, I'll give you a clue. And that clue is to agree with thine adversary quickly while you're still in the way with him. Or very basically, agree with whoever you're dealing with. Don't assert. Don't try to enforce your position, but accept him or her in the positions that they are caught in or seeing it from, and continue to ask questions until they empty themselves of their position, and then they're open and receptive, and more so to receive your points of view, your positions, and your points of view.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
You got it? Okay. Thank you for asking, Peter. We have about 2 minutes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Elizabeth. I'd just like to add to what Ramana is sharing, because it's very significant what Peter was saying, and this is one piece that came up again and again this past week, is taking 100% responsibility in me. That whatever I see, it's in me. So as I take responsibility in me and experience the experience of it, there's no me, there's no you, there's just one.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, that's exactly it. There is no other.
Sounded like it.
That was it. There is no other. Where did that come from? It's just like an echo. The seeming other is only an echo of the one who is hearing, of the one who is apparently speaking. See that, see it, be it forever, and be happy.